everybody, Miss Trish here to give you a brief review of what we talked about before our break. And that is the SIFT thinking strategies that were developed by Mike Caulfield. And these thinking strategies are designed to help you judge whether online sources and things that you are reading or seeing or hearing are authoritative and evaluate those resources. So let's get started on our review. So the first strategy is to stop. This is a strategy that you can employ 2 times in your reading. And the first time that you stop is before you actually start reading. And this is when you ask yourself, if you are familiar with the source, where is this coming from? And what is the reputation of that source? So remember that you can't believe necessarily what the source says about itself. So here are some guiding questions for the stop. Before you read, ask yourself if you know the website or the source of the information. Sometimes the publisher is the same as the author, and sometimes it's not. You need to investigate, well, that's actually the second step, but you need to determine what do you know about the source or the website or the author before you read it. And think a little bit about what is the reputation of the source. The second time you use this is when you actually start fact checking. Sometimes when you're fact checking, you get lost and you have to stop and reevaluate what is your objective and what are you trying to do, and then maybe start over again. But it's good to kind of stop and think about what you're doing and whether or not you should be moving forward down that path. So for the article that Miss Jessica has given you, the publisher is WBUR. Do you know who that is? What is this organization? What is their reputation? What is their expertise? And if there's a particular author, you would want to check that out as well. In this article, you may notice that it is a interview with one person whose last name is Lerner. And so it's a good idea to ask yourself, what is her expertise? So once you stopped to investigate the source a little bit, the next, you stopped, now you investigate. So remember the Wikipedia trick, how I told you to use Wikipedia responsibly? You use Wikipedia to find out who WBUR is, who Miss Lerner is, and you can find out more then about their point of view, whether they're an expert, can they speak with authority, and at this point you can, once you found that out, you can figure out, is this a source that you need to spend time on? And is the information going to be valuable to you? So not all information that you're going to read is going to be valuable to you. So especially if this comes up from a Google search, you need to determine, okay, how many is this source, is each individual source worth exploring? So some guiding questions here. Who's writing and publishing this information? What can you find out about them? Not necessarily what they say about themselves, but what other people, what is the reputation in the wider disciplinary community? And what is their objective, right? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to entertain you? Are they trying to educate you? Are they trying to get you to change some behavior? Are they trying to sell you something? So the way that you answer these questions changes the way that you read and the questions that you ask as you're reading and how you can use the information. And again, it's a good idea to go back and stop and ask yourself, is the article still worth your time? So for this article, again, what is the purpose of WBUR and why are they publishing this? And does WBUR actually cover the issue, this issue or related issues more broadly? How is is it an expert organization? Is the person they're interviewing, is she an expert? And think about how that changes how you read the article. If you've read the article and then you go through and ask these questions, do a little bit of investigation, how does this change how you analyze the information in the article, how you connect with the information in the article? All right, the third strategy is find. In many cases, what you're going to see is only a partial picture, right, of the big picture that you might be looking at. So if there are quoting other articles, if they are quoting statistics, right, numbers, if they're giving some whatever information they're giving you, you need to determine if this is a good source or would there be a better source, and find out what other sources say about the information that's provided. So some guiding general questions are, is the original source that you're looking for the best source or the right source for the information that you need, right? You need to think about what your information need is. What are you trying to find out? And then maybe you should look for other sources. So sometimes maybe you need to find out, it's good to look at multiple different sources or more reliable sources when you are thinking about the information that you're reading, watching, or hearing. So one way to look at this is to find out if there's consensus, and consensus means agreement. So do experts agree on a claim? Or like you may find a number of claims and you want to check them each out. Or do experts disagree about this information? So in this case, if there's agreement, if you look at multiple sources and you find there's agreement, then you have a lot of confidence in that information, right? And if the experts, if you find that they disagree about a claim, then that gives you a chance to analyze each one of those sources, see who agrees with each other, who disagrees with each other. And then once you start doing this, you should be able to determine what is the best source, or maybe it's multiple sources that you can find. So in this article, is this going to be the best source for your research? Also, what claims are being made in the article and who makes them? This article is full of claims. How can you think about how you can verify that the claims that are being made are true, right? And if experts agree on them or if they disagree on them. So then you would go and look for other sources, right? Multiple approaches to this information. And again, you have to then do this for every organization. You would need to go back and check to make sure that your news sources that you're fact checking with are also reliable sources. Finally, the last strategy is tracing the claims, quotes, and media, whatever you're reading, back to the original context. If you remember, I told you what we're really doing is trying to create a bigger picture around the information that you're reading, watching, or listening to. So here are some guiding questions, and I'm going to let you read these like on your own, but these are meant to put context. Actually, all of this is meant to give you context for the information that you're reading and help you question whether or not you can believe it and how you should use it. So, In this last article, in this last section, this can take a lot of time, right? You would only want to trace this back after you do the other steps. Identify a few claims in the article. Who makes them, right? Who is making these claims? And do you think the article has enough context for the claims? In other words, are you just getting a partial picture, a little bit of information, but all information should be put into context. So think about what might be missing. What can you question in this? And then trace those claims or fact check them with a reliable source. As you do this, these are habits of thinking, right? This is a way of thinking about information. And obviously, with any kind of habit, you develop that as you do it. So what you want to do is to just practice this with the article. Go in and follow the directions that Miss Jessica gives you and really try to put some context using the SIFT strategies around the claims in this article. I'll be really interested to hear how this goes for you and more about your experience doing this when we get back to school. And I look forward to seeing you then.